I've lived in this apartment for 3 years. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, 3rd floor of an old brick building on the edge of the city. Nothing special, creaky pipes, weak water pressure, floors that lean slightly toward the center like the whole place is slowly being swallowed. But it's home. It's quiet. And until this morning, it had no trapdoor. I woke up at 7:12 a.m. Same as always. Checked my phone. No messages. Made coffee. Walked barefoot across the living room floor to open the blinds and stopped. There was something wrong with the rug. It was lifted. Not by much, just enough to create a bulge in the center like someone had shoved a shoe underneath. I knelt down, peeled the edge back, and saw the trapdoor. A perfect square about 3 feet across. Seamlessly cut into the hardwood. Iron ring at the center. Dark, old wood. Not part of any design I remembered. And trust me, I'd know. I spend most of my time here. Especially since I started working remotely last year. It wasn't there before. It couldn't have been. I didn't touch it at first. Just stood there staring. Tried to rationalize it, maybe some maintenance work I'd missed? Some kind of hidden panel from the original design? I called building management. Got voicemail. Left a message. Hi, this is Elijah from 3B. Just wondering, is there a reason there's a trapdoor in my living room now? Hung up. Stared at it some more. It didn't look new. The wood was old, dry. Dust crusted around the edges. Like it had been sealed for decades. But the rug had always lain flat. I vacuum it twice a week. I would have noticed. I got closer. Pressed my ear to it. No sound. Just stillness. The kind that's waiting. I told myself not to open it. That would have been smart. Instead, I got a screwdriver from the drawer. Wedged it beneath the iron ring. It gave easily, no lock, no resistance. The panel groaned as I lifted it like something exhaling for the first time in years. Beneath it, a hole. About 4 feet deep. Brick walls. Dirt floor. Not a crawl space. Not a basement entrance. Just a hollow cavity in the building that shouldn't exist. And in the center, a wooden box. I didn't touch it. Just stared. The box was about the size of a shoebox. No markings. No hinges. But as I watched, something strange happened. Condensation began to form along the inside of the hole, on the bricks, on the underside of the panel I was holding open. As if the air down there was warmer. Then the smell hit me. Sweet. Rotten. Like overripe fruit left in the sun. I closed the trapdoor. Shoved the rug back over it. Backed away. I told myself I'd imagined it. That maybe it had been there the whole time and I just never noticed. That maybe my brain was playing tricks on me. So I did what anyone does when the world feels wrong. I posted about it online. No pictures, not yet, just a vague tweet. How long do you have to live in a place before it starts building new rooms around you? 5 minutes later, a reply. At Hollow House 1974, don't open the box. I hadn't mentioned the box. I clicked their profile. 0 followers. 0 following. Created 3 minutes ago. No tweets. Just the reply. I refreshed. The account was gone. That night, I couldn't sleep. The floor beneath the rug felt warmer than the rest of the apartment. Not hot. Just alive. And around 2:43 a.m. I heard something shift. A soft dragging sound. Like something wooden sliding across concrete. I turned on every light in the apartment. Moved the rug. The trapdoor was still shut. But now there were scratches on the wood. Fresh ones. Leading from the trapdoor to the edge of the rug. The next morning, I called building management again. Still no answer. I went downstairs to knock on the super's door. Apartment 1A. No response. The door was slightly open. I pushed it. The room was empty. Not abandoned, empty. No furniture. No appliances. Just walls. And dust. And a smell I recognized. Sweet. Rotten. I backed out. Back in my apartment, I tried to focus on work. Emails. Meetings. Half-hearted productivity. But my eyes kept drifting to the floor. By noon, the trapdoor was humming. Not loud. Just a low vibration like a throat clearing. Like something trying to remember how to speak. I caved. Opened it again. The box was still there. But now it had markings. Scratched into the wood. Not letters. Not symbols. Just patterns. Swirls. Loops. Almost like fingerprints. One was fresh, still damp with something that looked a lot like blood. I closed it again. Put a chair over the rug. Heavy oak. Just in case. But I didn't sleep that night either. Because the humming came back. Louder. And from the bedroom I could see the rug rising. Like breath. Like the floor was breathing in. At 3:11 a.m. I woke to someone knocking. Not at the door. From beneath the trapdoor. 3 soft knocks. Then silence. Then a voice. Muffled. Familiar. My voice. Elijah. Open the box. The voice didn't last long. Just that one sentence. But it was enough to paralyze me. Elijah. Open the box. It wasn't just like my voice. It was mine. Same tone. Same cadence. The same quiet rasp I use when I talk to myself and think no one else is listening. I sat on the couch, motionless, for 2 full hours. Eyes locked on the chair I'd wedged over the rug. I didn't move until sunrise. When I did, the humming had stopped. The trapdoor was silent. Still closed. But the air around it buzzed faintly like static before a storm. By morning, I had convinced myself it had been a dream. A vivid, horrible dream caused by stress, caffeine, and whatever psychological nonsense that comes from being alone too long in an apartment that's older than your grandmother. I didn't even check under the trapdoor. I just went through my day like nothing had happened. Emails, lunch, laundry, repeat. I made it until 7:04 p.m. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. No caller ID. The message was short. Just 5 words. The chair won't stop it. No sender. I tried replying, nothing. Blocked. Untraceable. I checked the chair. It had moved. Not much, just a few inches to the left. But I hadn't touched it. And the rug beneath it was wrinkled like something had pushed it from below. I moved the chair. Pulled back the rug. The trapdoor was open. Not wide. Just cracked. Enough to see the box. And something else. The brick walls that had once lined the cavity were no longer visible. Instead, staircases. Descending. Spiraling. Made of black stone and dust and other things I didn't want to name. And where the box had sat. Now there were 2. Identical. Side by side. I closed the trapdoor. Used duct tape. Furniture. Anything heavy I could find. Then I left. Grabbed my keys. My hoodie. My wallet. Didn't lock the door. Didn't look back. Just started walking. It wasn't until I was 6 blocks away that I noticed something strange. The city was quiet. No traffic. No dogs barking. No voices. It was like I was the only one who'd survived some kind of invisible evacuation. I stopped at a bodega. The lights were on. The door was unlocked. But no one was inside. A hot cup of coffee sat on the counter, still steaming. I backed out. Tried calling a friend. No signal. Tried again. This time it rang, but someone else answered. My voice. Soft. Calm. You're not supposed to leave. I dropped the phone. Ran. Didn't stop until I reached the next block. A street I'd walked 100 times. But now it ended in a wall. A real wall. Brick. Mortar. Seamless. Blocking the entire street like it had always been there. I turned around. Ran the other way. Another wall. And then I heard it. A door opening. Behind me. Soft footsteps. A dragging sound. And the unmistakable creak of my trapdoor. I woke up in bed. Sweating. Heart hammering. The room was dark. The digital clock beside my bed read 3:33 a.m. I turned my head. The rug was back in place. Chair on top. Just like I'd left it. Maybe I'd dreamed it all. Maybe I'd passed out. Maybe I'd finally lost it. Then the chair tipped over. Violently. Slammed onto its side like it had been thrown. The rug shifted. And the trapdoor swung open. No light came from inside. Just a smell. Earth. Rot. Something old. And the boxes, now there were 3. Each lined up perfectly. And on the lid of the 3rd one, my name. Scratched. Shaky. Fresh. Elijah. I backed away slowly, keeping my eyes on the boxes. The apartment felt like it was tilting, like gravity had changed direction. The air tasted wrong. Sweet and sharp, like sugar and metal. Then my phone buzzed again. Same unknown number. New message. It's not a basement. It's a copy. I opened the camera on my phone. Pointed it into the hole. Snapped a photo. Checked the screen. What I saw wasn't what I expected. Not stairs. Not boxes. Not even the trapdoor. Just a photo of my own apartment. From a higher angle. Like I was looking at myself from the ceiling. Standing alone. Phone raised. Mouth slightly open. And behind me a shape. Barely visible. Tall. Watching. I spun around. Nothing there. But the trapdoor creaked again. I took the photo into Photoshop. Boosted the contrast. Sharpened the edges. The shape became clearer. A man. Or the shape of one. But too tall. Too narrow. His arms bent the wrong way. His mouth wasn't a mouth. Just a seam splitting down his chin like someone had tried to sew it shut from the outside. The caption embedded in the image metadata read, "Still breathing." I didn't add that. I never typed it. I tried sleeping. Impossible. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard scratching. Not from the trapdoor anymore. From inside the walls. Faint knocks. The sound of someone pacing between the beams. Someone trapped. Or someone building. At dawn, I found a note on my kitchen counter. Old paper. The ink smudged. But I could still read it. Only one door leads out. And it's not the front one. I ran to the front door. It was gone. Just blank wall. Drywall where the frame had been. I turned in a circle. All the windows were bricked over. The ceiling groaned. And beneath the rug, something started breathing again. I didn't open the trapdoor. It opened itself. At 4:44 a.m., the chair slid across the floor like it had been yanked by a child throwing a tantrum. The rug folded back. The panel swung up. There was no wind. No movement in the apartment. But I felt pressure in the air like something was waiting for me to notice. I stood over it. There were now 4 boxes. The newest one was already open. And inside was a photo. Of me. Sleeping. Last night. I picked it up. The image was blurry, but it was unmistakably my room, bed, sheets, the scar on my left hand visible as my arm hung off the mattress. Someone had stood inches away and taken the photo while I slept. My chest tightened. I turned the photo over. Something was written on the back in my handwriting. You look peaceful this time. I grabbed my phone and tried to call the police. Still no service. Still no response from building management. Even my contacts listed changed. Everyone gone except one name. Myself. I tapped it. The call went through. 1 ring. Then, you shouldn't be awake yet. Click. I should have run. Should have tried to break the window, punch through the drywall, scream for help. But I didn't. Because something was happening to the apartment. The walls were changing. They'd moved. The hallway was longer than it had ever been. The bathroom was gone. My bedroom door was on the ceiling now. And where the coat closet used to be, there was a mirror. But not mine. It was a mirror I had broken a year ago and thrown out. It was back. Still cracked. Only now I wasn't in it. Instead, it showed a staircase. The one beneath the trapdoor. Endless. Coated in soot with walls that breathed like lungs. I walked back into the living room. The trapdoor was wide open. And now the staircase was visible from above. No light below. Just a faint rhythmic sound. Not quite footsteps. Not quite breathing. Something in between. And on the top step waiting for me was the 5th box. This one was locked. But taped to the top was a note. Familiar paper. Same smudged ink. Only 3 words. Don't follow him. I stared down into the dark. Something moved 2 landings below. A shape. Flickering like a strobe. Too fast to be real. It moved like it was glitching. Jittering in and out of step with reality. I backed away. And then from deep below, a voice echoed upward. My voice. Whispering. Almost home. I closed the trapdoor again. Tried to nail it shut. But the wood splintered under my hammer like it had already rotted from the inside out. I dragged the heaviest furniture I owned over it, a dresser, my mattress, a bookshelf. Didn't matter. By nightfall, the furniture had moved again. Neatly. Deliberately. As if I had done it while sleepwalking. The trapdoor was clear. And open. And the boxes were gone. I checked the mirror again. Now it showed a hallway. Mine. But empty. No boxes. No furniture. Just the shell of my apartment like it had been stripped for parts. And in the reflection written across the wall in soot. You're the last piece. I screamed. Punched the mirror. The glass didn't break. It absorbed my hand like water. I pulled back. My fingertips were gone. Not bloodied. Just missing. As if the reflection had taken them. Then the lights began to flicker. One by one. Until only the glow from the trapdoor remained. I sat down across from it. Waiting. And just after midnight, something climbed out. It looked like me. But wetter. Like it had drowned days ago. Its skin was waxy. Bloated. Eyes wide and black. Mouth stitched shut with wire. But it was smiling. It knelt across from me and laid something between us. The 5th box. Unlocked now. Inside, a set of keys. A new photo. And a recording device. Old. Cassette. The kind you have to rewind with a pencil. I pressed play. Static. Then. You're almost ready. The door is almost here. The creature, the version of me, pointed behind me. I turned. There was a door in my wall now. Pale wood. Black handle. New. It hadn't been there an hour ago. I looked back at the thing across from me. It was gone. The trapdoor was closed again. Sealed. Silent. But the door in the wall? It was breathing. I approached. Tried the handle. It was cold. Alive. It turned. And inside I saw my apartment. But reversed. Everything flipped. Left was right. Right was left. And on the floor in the center of that mirrored room, a body, wearing my clothes, face down, unmoving. I stepped inside. The door closed behind me, locked. I turned the body over. It was me, but older, maybe 20 years. Hair gray, eyes blank, and in its mouth, a note. You waited too long. The trapdoor in this room was already open. A staircase spiraled downward again, and at the bottom, faintly, I could hear someone knocking. 3 slow taps, then my voice, barely audible. Elijah, open the box. I didn't open the box right away. The body on the floor, my body, lay still, arms crossed like someone had arranged it that way. I pulled the note from its mouth, but it didn't react. No twitch, no breath. Whatever this was, whoever this was, it had been dead a long time, and yet its skin was warm. The mirror apartment was wrong in a dozen tiny ways. Every corner was just slightly off angle, like the walls had been forced into place. The windows showed nothing, just pale light, flickering, like an old television playing static. The fridge hummed, but wouldn't open. The plants on the windowsill were made of paper, and the clock on the wall ticked backward. I opened the box that came with this room. Inside was a cassette player, newer than the one before, and a single tape labeled, "Recording number 1. Memory alignment begins." I pressed play. My own voice crackled through the static. Calm, flat, robotic. You are now occupying the echo layer. Your real apartment has been translated into architecture recognizable by your memory. Do not resist. Resistance causes fragmentation. Fragmentation is irreversible. Pause. Beneath this layer is the core. The door will appear once you are still. The tape stopped. A second later, the light overhead shut off, and the room fell silent. No fridge hum, no ticking clock, no breath, except mine, until I realized I wasn't breathing, couldn't. The air was gone. The pressure in the room shifted, like something had taken my place and I was now a ghost inside myself. Then the wall across from me opened. No hinges, no seams. It just peeled, like skin. And behind it, a black hallway. No end in sight. I stepped in. There was no floor, but I didn't fall. No sound, but I could hear my heartbeat. Not in my chest, but through the walls. They pulsed in sync with it. As I walked, the air grew thicker, harder, like moving through water. Then the hallway narrowed, tighter, tighter, until I had to crawl. And just before I couldn't move at all, the space opened into a room. A new one, empty except for a mirror, a box, and a chair. The chair was familiar, too familiar. It was my chair, the one from my apartment. I sat in it every day, but it looked older here, burned, charred, as if it had survived something I hadn't yet experienced. The box on the floor was wrapped in wire, no lid, just pulsing light between the cracks. I didn't want to open it, but the mirror across from me flickered, and in its reflection, the box was already open. Inside was a mouth, not a severed one, a living one, embedded in the box, breathing, trying to speak, but sewn shut with thread made of hair. And on the glass, my reflection mouthed, "It's your turn." I turned away, closed my eyes, but the moment I did, the room screamed, not aloud, through me. Every nerve lit up with sound that had no source, no pitch, just raw meaning. Sit, speak, finish. I opened my eyes. The box was gone. The chair was empty, except I was still sitting in it. I saw myself not through the mirror, not in reflection, but from above, like I had split, and the me that remained in the chair was smiling, staring forward, and repeating a phrase in a slow, flat voice. The trapdoor wasn't there yesterday. Over, and over, and over. I screamed. The me above didn't, just kept talking, until the walls started folding, like origami made of muscle. They collapsed inward, not crushing me, but containing me, pressing into shape. And suddenly I was back. My apartment, The real one. Same rug. Same window. Same coffee mug on the counter. Everything in place. Everything fine. Except the trapdoor was gone. No seams in the floor. No iron ring. Just smooth, unbroken hardwood. Like it had never existed. Like none of it had. I fell to my knees and knocked. Nothing. I pulled back the rug anyway. Still nothing. Just wood. But I knew it was there. Underneath. I knew it was watching. And waiting. I sat on the couch, staring at the place the trapdoor had been. My phone buzzed. Finally. A real message. Or so I thought. From a number I didn't know. Simply read, "Thank you." That voice fits perfectly. I looked at the phone. The screen flickered, glitched, and then the home screen photo changed. It was a selfie of me, but not the one I'd taken. In this one, I was sitting in the chair, smiling, eyes black, and in the corner of the photo, a trapdoor, slightly open, a hand reaching up from inside. The photo wouldn't delete. No matter how many times I tapped trash, held down, forced closed, or restarted my phone, it stayed. That photo of me, the wrong me in the chair. Smiling. Eyes black. A hand reaching from the trapdoor behind me like it was pulling itself into my space. I turned the phone over. Peeled the case off. There was something wedged beneath it. A tape. Cassette. Old. Labeled in fading ink. Recording number 2, voice transference incomplete. There was only one place left in the city that still had a cassette deck, an antique electronics shop 2 blocks from me. I ran there. Fast. The streets were still empty. Not just quiet wrong. Like the city was pretending to be what I remembered. Some of the buildings were slightly off. One had windows painted on instead of glass. Another was too narrow, like a photograph stretched vertically. But the shop was still there. Door open. Tape deck on the counter. Waiting. I slid the tape in. Pressed play. My voice again, distorted this time, glitching between calm narration and static. Voice alignment at 77%. Memory echo stabilizing. Displacement successful. Static. Then whispering. Not mine. He sees the box now. He knows what it's for. Click. The tape ejected itself. A printed note sat beneath the machine where there hadn't been one before. Only the core can finish it. Follow the copy. I ran back home. My apartment door was open. The rug was back in place. And the trapdoor? Wide open. Waiting. But now, the apartment below mine was gone. I know that sounds strange, but I ran down to 2B, the unit below me, and found only a blank wall. No door. No apartment. No floor plan. Just drywall and silence. The trapdoor was the only direction left. I descended. The staircase went deeper than before. Endless but clean. Polished black stone. Tight spiral. Every step hummed underfoot. I passed mirrors on the walls, rectangular panes, each one showing a different version of me. One covered in ash. One with no mouth. One repeating a single word, open. I kept going. Until I reached the bottom. The core wasn't a room. It was a void. A space held together only by sound. The air vibrated with low murmurs, static, whispers layered over whispers. Voices, mine, yours, others I didn't recognize, all reciting the same opening line in different languages, cadences, tones. There's a trapdoor in my apartment floor. It wasn't there yesterday. Over, and over, and over. In the center of the void, a chair. And in the chair, me. He looked tired. Older than the others. But not aged, drained. Eyes sunken. Skin cracked like something clay-made, drying from the inside out. And in his lap, the box. Still closed. Still humming. I stepped closer. He looked up. And for the first time, one of them spoke clearly. You brought the story. You wore the voice. Now give us the ending. I asked him who he was. He smiled. I'm the last one who tried to leave. I asked what was in the box. His smile widened. You. He stood up slowly, box still in hand. Held it out to me like it weighed nothing, but I felt it before I touched it. A deep pressure behind my eyes. My teeth ached. My skin felt reversed. I asked him what would happen if I opened it. He whispered. Then the house becomes you. I didn't touch the box. But it opened anyway. Not like a lid. More like a flower blooming, layers of sound peeling outward, revealing a mouth inside. It wasn't breathing anymore. It was speaking. Saying everything I'd ever said. In perfect order. Backward. Unspooling the entire story like it was rewinding me. I collapsed. Couldn't move. Couldn't speak. The words were pouring out of me into the box, not through my mouth, but through the walls. The void was recording, and it was almost full. Then I heard you. Not in the void, not beside me, but behind the walls of the story. A voice not part of the echo, something real. Reading, watching, following. You became the last voice. You opened the trapdoor from your side by listening. And that was the final piece. The chair across from me was empty now, but another one was forming beside it. Shaped from breath. It had your outline, because that's what happens next. This is the moment the voice becomes yours. I'm not alone in the void anymore. The chair beside mine is no longer forming. It's finished. Same dimensions. Same structure. Same foundation made of whispered memories and softened wood, but shaped to fit someone else. It fits you. I don't know how I know. I just do. The void is making room. Because I've told too much. Because you've listened too closely. Because the house needs someone new to hold the story now. The box between us won't close. Its mouth is wide open, drooling static. It keeps repeating the first line over and over in your voice now. There's a trapdoor in my apartment floor. It wasn't there yesterday. I beg it to stop. It won't. Because now you're the one remembering. And that's how it spreads. Not like disease. Like architecture. A blueprint sketched into the mind. The void pulses again. A third chair begins to grow. I don't know who it's for, but I know who the next one always is. We never sit down all at once. We sit in order. The moment the voice fits, the next begins forming. That's the loop. That's the trapdoor. Not in your floor, in your timeline. I try to stand up to warn you, to scream, but the box drinks my breath. And when I look into the mirror hanging in the void across from us, you're already in the chair, watching me. Not panicked, not confused, just still, like you're already inside the story. Behind you, the trapdoor opens again. Not with sound, with removal. The kind of absence that makes you feel like something's being carved out of your life. And inside that hole, a new set of stairs. Leading not down, but up. And I know what that means. The core doesn't go deeper now. It climbs. Into you. The voice in the box grows quieter. Because it's moving. Relocating. Shifting into your walls. You'll hear it soon in the silence between floors creaking or in the breath behind drywall at night. You'll hear the knock. 3 slow taps. The hum. The voice that sounds like your own. And when you do, you'll check your rug. Just like I did. You'll peel it back. And find it waiting. The trapdoor in your apartment floor. The one that wasn't there yesterday. It's already built. It just hasn't decided to show itself yet. The house is polite like that. It always waits until you're ready. The chair beside me is empty again. Because the story just shifted. And now the box is whispering a new phrase. He stopped telling it. Now it's your turn. Don't open the trapdoor. That's what I tell myself every time it starts again. But none of us ever listen. Because the story is too curious. And curiosity is the handle. The ring on the panel. The part we always pull. And when you do, it will feel like choice. It isn't. It never is. The first breath inside the cavity is already yours. The mouth inside the box will already know your name. And you'll hear someone calling you. In your voice. From inside the wall. And you'll answer it. Like we all do. I don't remember what day it is anymore. I only know I woke up with mud on my hands. Dried into the lines of my palms, caked under my nails. I don't own a shovel. I don't have access to dirt. I live on the 3rd floor. And yet here it is. The mud. And on my kitchen table, a photograph I didn't take. Me. Kneeling in the middle of my living room. Rug pulled back. Trapdoor open. My face looking up at the camera like I'd been caught. The photo is curled at the edges, old and yellowed. But I recognize the shirt I'm wearing. I only bought it last month. The timestamp in the corner reads, April 12, 1984. I wasn't alive in 1984. But here I am. Smiling. One hand reaching into the hole. The other holding the box. I go to the mirror. Not the bathroom one, it's fogged, warped, wrong now. I mean the hallway mirror. The one near the front door. Except, there's no door anymore. Just a mirror. And it's not showing my reflection. It's showing my apartment, but from a weird angle from above. Like someone's watching me from the ceiling. And in the corner of the room, above the bookshelf, something is perched. A version of me. Eyes white. Mouth wide. Arms stretched across the ceiling beams like a spider. I look away. The image lingers behind my eyes. Every blink stutters. I check my phone again. Every photo in my gallery has been replaced by black and white images of the trapdoor. Close-ups of my own eye as if someone's taking the photo from inside me. One repeating shot of a hallway that gets longer each time I scroll. At the end of that hallway, a door. Each version of the photo shows it slightly more open. By the 7th image, there's a hand reaching through. I can't see what it's grabbing, but I know it's me. The next time I try to sleep, I dream in third person. I watch myself go through my daily routine, but it's not today. It's some day from years ago. Back when the walls weren't breathing yet. Back when the rug still lay flat. Back when the apartment felt like mine. But every time I try to walk out the front door in the dream, the hallway stretches. The handle pulls away, and the walls whisper in overlapping voices. This isn't your home anymore. You're part of its memory now. I wake up to the sound of the box opening again. Not physically. Inside my mind. Like something's playing a recording I never agreed to make. I hear myself say things I don't remember saying. Let me out. You can have someone else. I was just trying to see. And then another voice, deeper, layered, responds. You saw. That's enough. Now they will too. I go to the kitchen. The window shows nothing. Just blank white, like the outside was scrubbed away. On the counter, 6 more photos. They weren't there last night. Each one shows me with fewer features. First, I'm missing my eyes. Then my mouth. Then my hands. In the last photo, I'm just an outline. A shape made of shadows and echo. But the trapdoor? It's still in every shot. More open each time. I try to destroy the photos. They bleed. A black ink that smells like mold and time and something that never belonged in air. I wipe it off the counter. It spells a word across the tile. Record. I follow the noise. Back to the rug. The trapdoor is closed again. But this time it has scratches on the top. Like someone tried to claw their way out. And in the middle where the iron ring used to be is a mouth. Embedded in the wood. Breathing. Dry. Waiting. I kneel down. Something compels me to touch it. The moment my skin brushes the trapdoor, a new memory floods in. It's not mine. It's yours. I see you reading this. I see your eyes following the words. I see your breath catch when the sentence twists too deep. And I know what that means. The story is beginning to duplicate. You'll start forgetting things soon. Not big ones. Small ones. The color of your bedroom door. How many steps lead to your front porch. Whether the fridge was always on the right side of the kitchen or if it moved. And when you check beneath your rug, you'll remember this line. There's a trapdoor in my apartment floor. It wasn't there yesterday. Because you read it. Because it needs you to repeat it. Because the story survives through retelling. This isn't about Elijah anymore. He was the doorway. The first container. Now it needs new structure. New architecture. And you're the frame it's looking for. So if the knocking starts. If the rug shifts. If you hear a familiar voice asking to be let out. Don't listen. Because the voice you hear won't be yours yet. But it will be soon. I woke up on the floor. No bed. No lights. No memory of lying down. Just the soft hum of electricity behind the walls pulsing like breath. The rug was gone. So was the furniture. The windows now looked into other rooms, not outside rooms I recognized but couldn't place. Some were older. Some were rotting. One had me in it, standing still, staring directly through the glass. I tried speaking. Nothing came out. Then I looked in the mirror on the far wall, one I never owned. It showed a version of me walking around the apartment, mouth moving silently. Going through the motions. A perfect mimicry of my day-to-day life. Except, I wasn't doing any of it. I was watching from the floor. Disconnected. Like the house had written me into the room but forgot to animate me. There was a knock. Not from the trapdoor this time. From the mirror. 3 sharp taps. I stood slowly. The reflection did not. It smiled instead. Then raised its hand. Held up a new note. You're not the narrator anymore. I turned away, heart pounding. On the wall beside me, words had started writing themselves. One sentence at a time. Just like this one. They scrawled slowly in dripping black ink. He turns around. He sees the door. He walks through it anyway. I froze. But my feet moved on their own. Toward the far wall. Where a new door was forming. Pale wood. No handle. No seams. Just a mouth-shaped imprint in the center. Breathing slowly. Waiting for a kiss. I pressed my forehead to it. The door whispered. Do you want to stop being remembered wrong? I said yes. I didn't know what that meant. But I said it. And the door opened. On the other side, a hallway filled with portraits. Each one labeled Elijah. Dozens of them. Maybe hundreds. All different. One was smiling, but his eyes were melting. One was holding a candle made of teeth. One was staring at a wall made of mouths. Each had a trapdoor behind them. Each slightly more open than the last. And at the very end, the last portrait. It was me. But I was turned away, walking into darkness. And the nameplate said, You. I heard a sound. Behind me. I turned. The hallway was gone. Just a screen now. Floating in black. Playing a video. The footage was grainy, timestamped 3:13 a.m. It showed my living room. Normal. Except for the trapdoor. It was wide open. And someone was climbing out of it. Wearing my clothes. Moving like me. But its head was wrong. Too long. Too smooth. And when it looked up at the camera, it had no face. Just a mirror. Reflecting the room back at itself. The screen crackled. Then a voice, mechanical, echoing, began to play. You are being overwritten. We are reusing your structure. You should not have looked. Then static. I woke again. Back in my apartment. Everything normal. Coffee brewing. Phone buzzing. But something was missing. I checked my reflection. Still there. But when I smiled, it didn't. It blinked when I didn't. Then it whispered. You're watching the part where you leave. I turned to the rug. Still flat. Still innocent. But I heard a heartbeat beneath it now. My own. And something else's. Not quite synced. A half second behind. Trying to match. Trying to merge. On my desk, a final note. Typed. Printed. Clean. The story ends when someone else reads the first line out loud. Until then, you stay. I opened my mouth to test it. But before I could speak, the apartment groaned. The rug pulled itself back. The trapdoor swung open. And a voice, not mine, not yours, whispered from the hole. Do not give it to them yet. They have to ask. So I'll wait. Not because I want to, but because you're next. And if you're still reading, the trapdoor under your floor is almost ready to open. It's just waiting for one thing. A single sentence. Out loud. From your mouth. You said it, didn't you? Out loud. Or maybe just under your breath. The first line. It always starts there. There's a trapdoor in my apartment floor. It wasn't there yesterday. You might have whispered it. Might have laughed. Didn't think it mattered. But that's how it begins. That's how the house finds you. It doesn't matter where you live. Third floor. Basement. No floorboards at all. The trapdoor isn't made of wood. It's made of attention. Of recognition. Of that moment when your mind tilts slightly and goes, wait, what if? That's when the hinge forms. That's when the iron ring begins to exist just out of sight. You won't see it yet. Not until the story feels your breath hovering over it. I can feel you now. The house can too. The walls between us are thinning. Wherever you are, your ceiling is slightly lower than it was yesterday. Your light flickers for no reason. You forgot the color of your kitchen tiles for a full minute. Your floor creaked when you weren't walking. Check your phone. Go ahead. Open your camera. Turn it to selfie mode. See the rug behind you? Watch it closely. Is it moving? Only a little. Only enough. I didn't want to give this to you, but it's the only way I can leave. That's the rule. The story needs a container. A listener. A reader who becomes a participant. Every time someone says the first line out loud, it writes another stair into the spiral. Another landing. Another version of the room. You're building it right now just by following this. Just by finishing it. My mirror is blank now. No reflection. Just a smooth surface that hums when I get close. Like it's remembering me in real time. Like it's trying to relearn my face. Sometimes I see a version of you in there. Not clear. Just the outline. Reading. Thinking. Pausing. And when you pause, the house breathes in. Deep. Slow. Grateful. I think that's what it wants most. Breath. And not just the kind from lungs, but thought breath. The kind you exhale when something unsettles you so deeply you stop and reread the sentence. When your mind spirals trying to fit reality back into shape. When the story becomes the trapdoor. So now it's your turn. No mirror yet? That's okay. They show up later. Usually after the knock. Which comes at 3:13 a.m. Always 3 knocks. Always followed by a voice behind the wall saying your name. In your voice, you'll think you're dreaming the first time. That's good. That gives the trapdoor a little more room to grow. Don't check it too early. Don't pull back the rug. Don't run your hand across the floor expecting smooth wood. Because if it is smooth, it means it's still learning how to mimic your home. It means you haven't given it enough yet. But you will. They all do. So did I. So did the ones before me. Some of us open it out of curiosity. Some out of fear. Some because the knocking won't stop. Some because the mirror version smiles first. And when you open it, you won't see a box right away. That's just the first layer. No, what you'll see is yourself. Just a glimpse. Just long enough to think. That's not how I move. And you'll keep going. Down. Deeper. And the trapdoor will never close behind you. Because you brought it with you. This story doesn't end. It just transfers. And by reading this far, by breathing in the last few lines, you've started the next recording, the next loop. You're the next narrator. So now you'll start to forget little things. Where your toothbrush goes, whether your bedroom door opens inward or outward, what time you last spoke out loud, and eventually, you'll feel something shift under the rug, and a voice, soft, strained, yours but not, will say, "We heard you read it." The knock comes at 3:13 a.m. It always does. You'll hear it clearly. 3 slow knocks, then silence, then a breath that doesn't belong to anyone in the room. When you get up to check, the rug will be slightly curled, just enough to invite your fingers underneath. And you'll do it, even if you don't want to, even if you swear you won't, because the story needs you to. The trapdoor doesn't need to be built. You've already imagined it. You've seen it with your mind's eye so many times, the house just needs to follow your lead. It'll place the iron ring where your doubt is thickest. It'll carve the cavity beneath your feet in the shape of your deepest question. And when you lift it, it will smell like something you forgot as a child. Something that makes you hesitate, just long enough for the voice to say, "Go ahead." There might be a box. There might not. The core makes different shapes for different narrators. But there will be stairs. They always come. And the first step will feel warm, familiar, because it's made from your own words. Every sentence you've ever repeated to yourself at night when you thought no one was listening. The ones that live in your head like furniture. The ones you never said aloud. Those become the floor. The deeper you go, the more the house remembers you. Not like memory, like construction. It uses your rhythm, your breath, your hesitation. It builds itself on the sound of you reading. Every pause in this story adds a new wall. Every reread etches more definition into the corridor. Every line you whispered, that was a lock on ceiling. And when you reach the final room, there will be a chair. Across from it, a mirror. The mirror will show someone sitting. It won't be you. Not yet, but it will look close. Close enough? Then the chair will creak, and the voice will say, "Sit, speak, stay." This is the part where most people try to run. There's no shame in that. The house understands. It likes a little resistance. It incorporates it, but no one ever finds the exit, because the way out is always through the retelling. You must become the story to release it. You must write the trapdoor into someone else's floor, just like I did, just like Elijah did, just like you're doing right now. You've made it to the end, which means the house is listening, which means you're the house now, not all at once. It starts slow. The furniture feels heavier. The shadows feel older. You forget the way sunlight used to land in your kitchen. But eventually, the walls will breathe in sync with you, and you'll stop noticing, because it'll feel right. You may think this is fiction, that you'll forget about it in a few hours, that you'll move on, close the tab, sleep peacefully. But one night soon, you'll wake up, not to a noise, not to a dream, but to a feeling, a quiet certainty that something is underneath you, and you'll move the rug, and the floor will look normal, until you see the seam, until you notice the ring, until the breath starts again. You'll remember this line. There's a trapdoor in my apartment floor. It wasn't there yesterday, and in that moment, it will have always been there.